Hello, I'm Eric, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Schiit Magni 2 headphone amplifier. Now, before we talk about the amp, I'll just show you what comes in the box. Now, the amplifier would be in this box, and then they let it sit right in between these two little rectangle cutout pieces, and then underneath you get a white box where that adapter would be. And it's just a standard shipping package box, so nothing special. And we're going to talk about the adapter for 2 seconds. So the cable is about 6 feet, maybe a little shorter, a little longer. It's about 6 feet. The output is 16 volt AC, 500 milliamps, 8.0 watts for the output. And you plug the power right into here. And then you plug the other end into your power outlet. So let's go ahead and show you what the front of it looks like. And then there's nothing on either side. And then on the back, you get just some RCAs, red and white for a right and left channel, a high-low gain switch, and a power switch. And then the port where you plug in your power. Now these switches are very nice. They have a solid click. When you turn it on and off, it is on the back, so you have to reach over and turn it on and off. Same thing for high or low gain. And then you plug in your RCAs in here from your source to play music out of it from the headphone jack. Now you can get a headphone cable 3.5 to plug into your computer, and then the other end of the cable could be RCAs, and you plug it right into here. So let's go ahead and talk about where you plug in the headphones. Now this adapter does not come with it, but you would plug your headphone cable into this adapter if it's not already this size, and then you plug it in, and it's pretty smooth to plug in, and taking it out does require a little bit of force, but I like it. It's definitely better than the O2 amp, but I wouldn't say it's as smooth as the Aune X1's size one. Now the volume knob, there is a small indicator right here. I'm not sure if you can see that. So it's really hard to see that indicator. So that's not really that good. But what I do like about this volume knob, it's very easy to turn. And it's very smooth. There's like no notches. You do kind of hear it a little bit when turning it. And it goes all the way that far right there. And if you haven't noticed, there is some venting on the top, so dust can get in there. And this does get a little bit hot. Now before I talk about the audio quality, I'm just going to show you how much power you probably would need to power some headphones. So as you can see, it's just above 12 o'clock, so about 60%. You need about that much to power like HD 6XXs or Hi-Fiman HE4XXs on low gain. Now if you were to do those two headphones on high gain, it would be just under 12 o'clock, as you can see. Now for the monoprice M1060s on low gain, you'd probably only need that much. But on high gain, you'd only need about this much. Now for the AKG, they're a little more powerful. So you need a little more, so about 12 o'clock on low gain would be fine. So now that we talked about that, let's go ahead and talk about the audio quality. Now there's not much for me to talk about this, but we're just going to cover each area really quickly. Now the bass, I would say, is very tight and it's good. It's about similar to the Fiio Q1 Mark II, but I would say the O2 amp sounds a little more boomy, just a little more boomy, just a little stronger, but it's a little less controlled. This is a little more controlled than that, so I do like the bass. But then I would say the Aune is just a tiny, if you get the volume up loud, the Aune would probably be even more boomy, sounding a little stronger. So this is about tied with the Fiio Q1 Mark II, but the Fiio Q1 Mark II has a bass boost, and once you turn the bass boost on that, then it has the most bass out of all four of these amps by a lot. And it's still pretty tight and good, and it doesn't really muddy out the audio. So let's go ahead and go to the mids. Now, what's really nice about the Schiit Magni 2 is this has probably the best vocals out of all four of them. I would say the aune is the worst because I had some issues with it, but I think I fixed it. But I would still say it's not that great. Then I'd probably rank the O2 second. Then I'd put the fiio under this, just by a little bit. So the fiio Q1 Mark II is still pretty good, but I would say this takes first place for vocals. Now, I did compare the fiio to this using the fiio's DAC and then using no DAC on this. I know that's not necessarily fair. Now, if there's one thing I definitely noticed on the fiio, it'll sound cleaner and more smoother. So that's probably what the DAC is mostly doing. And I don't know if it really improved like signal to noise ratio or anything like that. Because this amp, for example, before we talk about that actually, the highs is pretty darn good on this. I do like the fiio. The aune is kind of recessed sounding, so not that, I don't really like it. So the highs is also probably one of the best on this one as well. Now let's talk about the soundstage and the imaging, because that's the main reason why this one wins. Now the O2 amp I would say is the worst. Then I would probably say, maybe the aune does beat the fiio, but I would say this is pretty just as good as the aune in terms of soundstage and imaging. So like let's say if you have ocean in the background, it's going to sound more clean on this, while it'll probably sound muffled on like the O2 amp, for example. Now the fiio is still really good, it's just a little less. Because you know what I could really notice on this amp is, let's say you have like birds in the background, right? I'm going to use that example again. If you have these birds way far back chirping, there's more echo on this. So this has probably the best soundstage and imaging. Then that's about all I really want to talk about this. I wanted to keep this very short. Now, I might want to mention the sound signature. I would say the aune is kind of neutral, but it's very, the certain things are kind of muffled, and the separation isn't as good, so it's kind of claustrophobic on the O2 amp. The fiio, like I said, with the DAC, it makes it more smooth, and the bass will definitely give it more bass. And the aune, it has a very recessed sound, and I just don't like how that one sounds. So I'm going to have to say the Schiit Magni 2 probably has the best sound signature out of the box. Now, most people would get the Madi 2 to pair with this. Now, if you haven't noticed, this requires a power brick. The Madi 2, I believe, you powers through the USB port. So you plug in the Madi 2 to your computer with USB, and then you can run the RCAs into this, I believe. And if you have the Madi 2 Uber, I believe that has a power brick. And other than that, I would say this is pretty much the best thing that you can buy in the $100 range. By the way, this is about $100 plus shipping, which shipping is probably like $15 for you. So this is probably the best thing you can get for $100. Now, what I did not mention is that this is a Schiit Magni 2. They don't sell this one anymore. They sell the Schiit Magni 3. And that one, according to the specs, has a little bit more power, though according to some reviews that I've heard, it's only a little more powerful. And speaking of the power, I would say this is about equal with the aune and power. The O2 amp was probably more powerful, and the fiio is a little less powerful, but I haven't gotten a balanced cable for that yet. So if I did get a balanced cable, and to be honest, I haven't really played around with the high gain on that yet, but if I got a balanced cable for the fiio, it would probably be more powerful, and it might even make it sound better. So the fiio will probably be the only other thing that could beat this if you run it balanced. I just don't have a balanced cable yet to test that. But back to what I was saying is, if you got a Madi 2, right, that's another $100. So that's $200. And for $200, I definitely recommend that combo probably over the Aune X1S. Now, of course, with the Aune X1S, you're probably going to get optical and coaxial in the back, in and outs, and another set of RCAs already. Because the Madi 2 doesn't have the RCAs on the back, unless you get the Madi 2 Uber, which is going to cost more money. But other than those features, those extra ports on the back, I would rather recommend a Madi 2 for $100, not a Madi 2 Uber, and not a Magni 2, but a Magni 3, because people say it has just a little bit better bass, and it just sounds a little bit better, and it's a little more powerful. So I definitely recommend you buy the Schiit Magni 3, not the 2, but the 3, because the 2 is still really good. So I really like this product, and I really like this company. The packaging is not that great, but another thing is that this is made in America, so that's good. But the major thing is the warranty is going to be easier and possibly better. So this company is probably going to have better warranty than something like the Aune, for example. Probably not as good warranty on that. So yep, that's about all I have to say about this. So thank you for watching.